More than 100 persons were detained this morning in a major police operation along the Port Henderson Main Road, popularly known as Back Road. They include 40 women and 65 men. Police say they raided several hotels and strip clubs in search of wanted men from St. James. The High Command suspects that gunmen fleeing the state of emergency in St. James may be hiding in motels and hotels in the corporate area and St. Catherine. The strip was blocked off for hours as police combed through rooms and several premises for suspects. The operation, which started at midnight, ended shortly after 6 o'clock Saturday morning. An illegal gun with several rounds was seized at the back of a premises on the strip where several prostitutes were staying. A member of parliament is this evening cautioning the police that the negative labeling of some communities could make crime fighting more challenging than it already is. Clarendon Member of Parliament, Central Clarendon that is, Mike Henry, made the comments at a media release on Saturday, days after acting head of the Clarendon Police Superintendent David White outlined areas where certain crimes are more rampant. TVJ's Krista Campbell has the details.
More than 20 persons have been murdered in Clarendon since the start of the year, and the police say they have been responding by increasing their presence in areas more prone to certain crimes, like robberies twinned with murders, which acting head of the Clarendon Police Superintendent David White says is more prevalent in Savannah Cross, Mineral Heights, Sandy Bay, and Longville Park.
We start to look at Longville Park seriously because there's also a connection from Spanish Town that is linking in Longville Park, and that Spanish Town is now linking from Longville Park here into Farm Efferetville.
Gang activities also continue to push up murder figures and challenge the police in Clarendon.
The gangs in Buckner and Bucks Common, Farm Efferetville, Rocky Point and Lionel Town are active. And there are some main players that we would have put them on here and tell and speak to Jamaica that if you see them, we want them. Farm Efferetville is one of those underdeveloped areas that they live and they're able to hide within those places. They'll come into Maypen Town where they'll carry out their attacks and the safe haven back in Farm Efferetville.
Turning to the guns for drugs trade, Superintendent White says it's still a challenge in southern coastal communities like Rocky Point, Milk River, and Portland Cottage.
The criminals are operating within these spaces. So one is for drugs and guns, and it is also for the changing of animal meat for guns, and it continues.
And he says criminals are also beginning to use other communities like Frankfield as a safe haven. In Yorktown, Superintendent White laments that residents are keeping silent, noting it's making it more difficult for the police to solve some of the murders there. But in a media release on Saturday, Central Clarendon MP Mike Henry said he's concerned with the level of criminal activities in the parish and warned that blacklisting troubled communities will only counteract crime-fighting efforts. In fact, the MP says representatives of some communities are complaining bitterly about their areas being negatively labeled. He says by doing so, the police are further isolating the residents, noting that the police need to have a closer relationship with the people to truly be effective in fighting crime. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
There are increased calls within the region for a more robust approach to crime fighting as crimes, especially murders, are on the rise in some Caribbean territories. Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago have the unenviable record of the highest homicide count in the region so far this year. With foreign nations now issuing security warnings, some residents are suggesting a unified approach to crime. Murder figures in the region for January this year. Jamaica, 141 homicides. Trinidad and Tobago, 59 killings. Those are the two highest figures in the region, both indicating an increase over the same period last year. The increase led to security advisories for U.S. citizens in Jamaica last month. Advisories were issued Thursday for Trinidad and Tobago from the U.S. and the U.K. for terror threat warnings for carnival activities next week. As it is in Jamaica, Trinidadians are concerned that the spike in crime will impact the economy.
Yeah, a lot, yeah, because tourism is getting lower and lower every day. Because at a situation, people take it as an offense. When they hear that, they will not come and visit like how before it was normal. now it's going to see.
Well, it's affecting business in a very negative way, you know, because you're not seeing the people in the country. They're not happy. They're scared to go out. They're scared to socialize because, I mean, a small country like ours, the crime figure for this month is 50 plus already. I mean, by no standard is unacceptable.
The international media has reported that a terror plot for Trinidad Carnival was foiled with the aid of U.S. law officials. With terror threats now being added to the country's crime concerns, residents are suggesting that a collaboration with regional authorities on the matter may be the way forward.
You know, crime affects everyone, right? I wish that the governments of the region could get together and hold a holistic view and come together and deal with it together and see what best we could do. Because I mean, the Caribbean, everybody wants to live here. Everybody wants to come here. Why we spoil it?
It's very difficult because the business that is involved is at the level of our economy or a little bit less. You know, the drug business is extremely wealthy. The only way to do it would be to be extremely strict at all levels, and there's no way to do that other than accountability and oversight. And to some degree, we have to fight for it as well as people.
In light of the escalating crime, the Trinidad Police Executive has presented a new crime plan, which among other things focuses on hotspot policing. However, that is already being criticized as being old and restrictive.